Every actor dreams of that one big screen role, a character that defines a generation, wins awards, and forever secures their place in Hollywood's pantheon. But imagine being handed that golden ticket and letting it slip away. Then comes the heartbreak. Sitting in the audience or at home on the couch, watching someone else step into that role, collect the awards, dominate the box office, and become the icon you were meant to be. For these TV stars of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, this wasn't just a bad decision. It was a career-shaping mistake. The massive roles they turned down didn't just change Hollywood history, they haunted these actors for the rest of their lives. Henry Winkler, his musical mistake. Henry Winkler owned the 1970s as the Fonz on Happy Days. The leather jacket, the swagger, the catchphrases. He wasn't just a sitcom star, he was a cultural icon. So when 1978's Grease came calling, it felt like destiny. The role of Danny Zuko, a slick, singing greaser, was practically tailor-made for his charisma. But Winkler hesitated. He'd spent years playing the ultimate 1950s rebel, and he was terrified of being typecast forever. So he said no. "I didn't want to be typecast," he later admitted. It was a decision that changed Hollywood history. The role went to a young John Travolta, who rocketed to superstardom. Grease grossed nearly $400 million worldwide. Its soundtrack became a cultural juggernaut, and Travolta's career took flight. Winkler stayed a beloved TV figure, later reinventing himself as a director, producer, and Emmy-winning character actor. But the sting of what might have been never fully faded. Reflecting years later, he put it bluntly, "I was dumb. John Travolta does the movie and buys a plane. I go home and have a Diet Coke." For Winkler, the missed spotlight became a bittersweet footnote to an otherwise legendary career. Burt Reynolds, galactic regret. Before he was Hollywood's ultimate leading man, Burt Reynolds cut his teeth on 1960s television, playing the rugged Quint Asper on Gunsmoke. By the mid-70s, he was already a box office draw. Then came the offer that could have changed sci-fi history. In 1977, George Lucas wanted Reynolds to play Han Solo in Star Wars. But Burt didn't buy into the space fantasy. He passed, later saying, "I didn't want to play that kind of role." The part went to Harrison Ford, whose swaggering smuggler became one of cinema's most beloved rogues. Star Wars grossed over $775 million, launched a global empire, and turned Ford into a superstar. Reynolds remained one of the biggest film actors of the 1970s, but even at the height of his fame, he never quite shook the regret. Looking back decades later, he admitted the truth. "I wish I would have done it." For all his success, the galaxy he turned down lingered as the role that got away. Eddie Murphy, the part he tuned down. By the mid-1980s, Eddie Murphy had already rewritten the rules of comedy. His explosive run on Saturday Night Live made him a TV phenomenon, and his stand-up and film work turned him into one of Hollywood's hottest stars. So when Disney pitched him the lead in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Eddie Valiant, a hard-boiled detective in a cartoon world, it seemed like another perfect leap forward. But Murphy wasn't convinced. The hybrid of live action and animation felt too strange. "I didn't get the concept," he later admitted. The role went instead to Bob Hoskins, and the film became a sensation, grossing over $350 million and winning 3 Academy Awards for its groundbreaking visual effects. Murphy went on to enormous success, but even he has called this a rare career misstep. "I feel like an idiot," he told Jimmy Fallon, admitting it was the only big hit he ever turned down. For a star who rarely missed, the tune he didn't chase remained one regret he couldn't laugh off. Christina Applegate, one L of a mistake. In the late 1980s, Christina Applegate became a household name as Kelly Bundy on Married with Children, with her razor-sharp comedic timing and sass making her the sitcom's breakout star. Fast forward to 2001. Hollywood came knocking with Legally Blonde. The role of Elle Woods, a bubbly law student underestimated by everyone around her, was offered to Applegate. But she hesitated. After years of playing a ditzy blonde on TV, she feared the film would trap her in the same box. "I got scared of repeating myself," she admitted. The part went to Reese Witherspoon, who transformed Elle into a feminist icon. The movie grossed $141 million, launched a franchise, and won Witherspoon a Golden Globe nod. Applegate continued to shine in Anchorman, Samantha Who, and Dead to Me, earning acclaim and awards of her own. But the sting of that missed moment never quite faded. Looking back, she called it what it was: a stupid move. The pink-clad courtroom she never entered became one of Hollywood's most ironic what-ifs. John Travolta, the officer left behind. John Travolta first lit up TV screens in the 1970s as Vinnie Barbarino on Welcome Back, Kotter, before Saturday Night Fever and Grease turned him into a bona fide movie star. By the early 1980s, he was one of Hollywood's hottest names. Then came another shot at greatness: the role of Zach Mayo in An Officer and a Gentleman. The part of a troubled young Navy recruit could have added depth to Travolta's resume, but he passed, turning his focus to other projects in the midst of a string of career missteps. The role went to Richard Gere, and the result was unforgettable. The movie grossed $190 million, earned critical acclaim, and gave audiences one of cinema's most iconic romantic moments: the soaring lift scene. Gere's star power skyrocketed. Travolta, meanwhile, drifted through a quieter stretch of the 1980s. Though he later roared back with Pulp Fiction, he has openly admitted regret over missed chances like Officer. "I wish I had done more of those roles," he told Variety. The naval uniform he never wore became a lasting reminder of an opportunity left behind. Denzel Washington, the sin he didn't chase. Before becoming one of Hollywood's most respected leading men, Denzel Washington made his name on television as Dr. Philip Chandler in the 1980s medical drama St. Elsewhere. His quiet intensity stood out, setting the stage for the powerhouse career to come. But even legends have their what-ifs. In 1995, Washington was offered the role of Detective David Mills in David Fincher's Seven, a grim psychological thriller about a serial killer who murders according to the 7 deadly sins. Denzel read the script and passed, uneasy with its darkness. The role went to Brad Pitt, and the film became a modern classic. Seven grossed $327 million worldwide and gave cinema one of its most shocking endings. Pitt's performance cemented him as a major star. Washington later admitted the choice still haunted him. In interviews, he called turning it down the biggest regret of my career. Even with his Oscars and decades of success, the case he didn't crack remained a shadow, proof that even the greatest actors sometimes miss their shot at history. Bruce Willis, haunted by Ghost. Before he was Hollywood's go-to action hero, Bruce Willis made his name on TV as the wisecracking David Addison in the hit series Moonlighting. His quick wit and roguish charm set him apart in the 1980s. In 1990, that charm nearly carried him into one of cinema's great romances. Willis was offered the lead in Ghost, opposite Demi Moore, his wife at the time. But he didn't buy the premise. A love story told through a dead man? He laughed it off. "Who wants to see that?" he reportedly quipped. The role went to Patrick Swayze, and Ghost became a phenomenon, grossing over $505 million worldwide, winning 2 Oscars and cementing itself as one of the greatest romantic films ever made. Willis went on to carve out a legendary career in action classics like Die Hard and The Fifth Element. But even he later admitted passing on Ghost was a mistake. Calling himself a knucklehead in interviews, he confessed it was one opportunity that truly haunted him. For TV stars on the edge of movie greatness, turning down the wrong role left regrets that echoed for decades. And yet, their careers didn't vanish. Henry Winkler reinvented himself as an Emmy-winning character actor, and Denzel Washington became one of the greatest actors of all time. The lesson isn't that their talent died with a missed opportunity, it's that even legends carry the weight of what if. So who else let a legend maker slip away? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.